Hey there, it's Jimmy. Thanks for checking back. And today we have something interesting that some of you guys may have never actually seen in the wild. This is a 1990 Volkswagen Corrado G60, the supercharged version. But first, if you like what you see, please do hit subscribe and like. If you have comments about this car, please leave them below. I love Volkswagens, but I'm not always an expert on every little minute detail. And if you're a big Corrado fan, you probably know a little more than I do. But I will give you the basics and we'll check this thing out. It is in a gorgeous blue color, actually. I don't know what color, what name, what blue this is named, but it's fantastic looking in this color. And frankly, you never really saw many back in the day painted this color. You saw a lot of the yellow ones, or a few of the yellow ones, red ones, silver I've seen, white, but not the blue. Black as well, obviously. But yeah, so the Corrado was introduced for 1989, sold until all the way through 95. In the US, this replaced the Scirocco, more or less. In Europe, they actually sold the Scirocco for several years into this car's run. So it's kind of interesting, but there was only one generation of it, and this was effectively Volkswagen sports car in the United States. Kind of the top of the range, definitely above a GTI, even above a GTI 16V. The Corrado never had a 16 valve engine, just had the supercharged engine here, and then also obviously got the VR6, the inline narrow angle V6, which was pretty cool and quite a performer. But yeah, I mean, let's take a look at this. It's obviously a wedge kind of shape. Definite influences from the Scirocco, also the Golf. Obviously, it's based on the Golf, the Mark II floor pan and mechanicals underneath. But you know, had some pretty cool things. Flush glass was interesting. The rear spoiler, which in the US went up automatically, I think around 45 miles an hour, and came back down at 15. You could also manually override it. It just popped up a couple inches, nothing big, but one of the early cars to do something like that. So it's pretty interesting. Very Volkswagen back here. This is instantly familiar to anybody who's ever seen a Volkswagen or Audi product. The body color badging was interesting back in the day. That's when that kind of got started. It's Corrado G60. The G60 denoted the supercharger. You got the central Volkswagen badging here, which is gone. Obviously the third, the high mounted brake light. This one was aftermarket wheels. I think these came stock with 14s that later became 15s, but these don't look bad. They're not great, sort of a modern. I kind of like the white, actually. Yeah, let's take a look under the, well, let's look at the front, right? Because we haven't looked at the front. The grille's gone on this one. Flush headlights, fog lights down here, and then turn signal marker lights. Stuff's got to be pretty rare these days. You just don't see these in the junkyard or the street anymore. Oh, but wait till you see the miles on this thing. It's quite amazing. But yeah, let's pop the hood. There it is, 1.8 liters. Superchargers right here up front. So intake air goes through and into the intake. Like I said, never available with a 16 valve head. I think it put out 156 or 158 horsepower and about 166 pound-feet of torque or so. So quite an improvement on the GTI of the day. This thing really did scoot, and then once it got the VR6, it was even faster. But I gotta think it was slightly better balanced with just the 4-cylinder. The VR6, it was a little heavier, as I recall. This one's still pretty complete. Actually, just got put here in the junkyard, so I'm sure it'll get picked over soon enough. Not bad. It had quite a bit of sound deadening here under the hood. It's pretty good. So yeah, this panel's in good shape. I mean, overall, this car looks in very good condition. Not an accident. So I don't know what happened to it. And obviously the clear coat's fading. But 30 something years in Colorado will do that to you. Let's take a look. Let's open the back hatch and then we'll go inside. But here's the back hatch. VW had this button here that you could lock. It would just, you'd turn the key and that would lock it. Obviously, actually at this time it has central power locking also. Wow, it still has the hard luggage cover. That's neat. With the rubber straps holding it in, as opposed to the Golf, which I think always had the kind of a string strap type thing. Pretty good luggage space back here. Actually, this is quite deep. Spare tire would have been under there. And then you had speakers up here and there. That's not bad at all. Let's see if the spare is still in here. Oops, the lid is falling down on me, so let's see if I can just do this. There we go. Nope, spare is gone, but that's where it was. Looks like his room, well, that's for a space saver. You probably could have put a full size in, and you would still have had plenty of room in the luggage compartment. So, but yeah, and did it have a, yeah, had a rear wiper also, which is great. This one's obviously snow covered. Can't really wait for it to melt. This thing will be too picked over to do a video on. So let's take a look inside. Wow. Yeah, that looks, well, I mean, obviously, except for the spaghetti wiring mess, this thing looks in pretty good shape. I mean, this is nice. VW did fairly nice interiors then. Got the half vinyl, half cloth. This is a very nice velour-y type of cloth, soft. And then the seats are the typical Recaro style or Recaro made seats. This is familiar to anyone who's ever been in a Scirocco or a GTI. Very similar, nice bolsters. I always liked it when they put the cloth in the middle and then the vinyl or leather on the sides. Made it a little more durable. This one isn't bad. It's cracking here a little bit, but they'll usually wear through here because that's where everyone just slides over to get out of the car. These, as we can see by the gear shift, were actually made by Karmann. So Karmann, who makes the Karmann Ghia and the convertible cabriolets for Volkswagen, also did this. So this was not produced in a Volkswagen factory, but rather at the Karmann works up in, I think, Osnabrück, Germany. No airbags on this. It was a little early for that. You had a leather covered steering wheel. And you know, here's kind of what one of the problems with this car was. It got launched in, you know, the late 80s. The recession was coming. The Iraq War was going to be coming very shortly. This was never a cheap car. And the Japanese really stepped up their game. I mean, at the time this came out, you also had the next generation Acura Integra, Prelude. Celicas were pretty powerful and popular. 240 SX. This thing had quite a bit of competition, which I think hurt it a little bit. It was probably a little more solid as far as heaviness, but that's also, it was a little heavier. So I don't know, that kind of hurt it. And also the Japanese really stepped up their game as far as interior quality went around that time. One of the things I remember noting at the Corrado at the time was you had the nice leather around here, then you had the plastic in here, and then you had a different plastic piece for the horn pad, and the textures don't match very well at all among the three pieces. That was kind of chintzy. And then you had these weird little, or this is a little interesting, the stalks with the had the trip computer, and then that's the windshield wipers. You had these little sideways diagonal lines when Volkswagen tried to get a little sportier with the thing rather than just plain plastic non-texture items. So not bad though. This is cruise control. Headlight switch was here, and then back here was, what is that? Oh, is that for the rear spoiler? I think that's to deploy the spoiler in the back. This one, let's take a look at this though. You had full instrumentation here. You had water temperature, obviously fuel gauge. This wheel's locked, so it's hard to get in there. But look at those miles, 62,000, only 62,278 miles on this car. That's pretty amazing. I mean, VDO odometers at the time kind of had problems with braking, but they didn't brake that early. And the condition inside here kind of does support 62,000 miles. It's amazing that this thing went to the scrapyard. But at the vents up here, heated seats left and right. This would have been HV. Oh, here's the climate control panel. So this one had AC and defroster, obviously. So just a manual system in this case. Then you have the radio and some cubbies down here. But yeah, 5-speed manual, close ratio, very nice. Handbrake here. These infinitely adjustable seats here for the seat back. This is great. Rather than just a lever, you can dial this thing in exactly how you want it. Really nice. And the seats, actually, you know what? This seat, oh, now that I notice it, the driver's seat is actually different than the passenger seat. The driver's seat has been replaced. So maybe these miles are not correct. Maybe there was a lot more wear going on. Take a look at this. I mean, the door panel here is the blue, as is the door panel there and the back, and the passenger seat has the blue also. This one has the red. So That's interesting. Just noticed that. Here's the VIN. This was built in December 1989 in West Germany. Still called it West Germany back then, obviously. And this was serial number 112 at the end, 11246. So fairly early. They only built about 90,000 or so of these things total, maybe 95,000. Yeah, and they're all made in Germany, and we got a bunch of them, and they were fairly popular over in Germany too. Let's go around to the passenger side though. There's more to see over there. Well, it's a snowy day, but not that cold here, so it's kind of nice today. But there we go. All right, so had a glove box, locking glove box, kind of small. Big fat knee bolster here, pre-airbag. You had the crappy motorized seat belts here, which just whoop, went all the way around. And then you had the lap belt that people either did or didn't use. To get in the back seat, these were strictly a 4-seater. Pretty tight back here, not a ton of headroom, but pretty comfortable. Enough window to see out of. I've seen a lot worse. That's not bad. Back seats folded down, which helped with the luggage area. You had a very nice woven or cloth headliner. This one's got, I think, a problem with the sunroof, so they've got a 2x2 stuck up there to wedge it shut. And in this case, you have a full, it's actually a sunroof, so it's metal, not a moonroof, which would be glass. Here's the switch for that. And you have the dome light, map light. I think you got a dome light for everything, and then one map light. So that's different than just the regular mirror. At least you got mirrors in all the in the sun visor. Not bad. Vinyl backed seats. Yeah, but that is the Volkswagen Corrado. I mean, this is quite the little interesting time capsule. You do not see these at all anymore, like I said, and like you were no doubt aware. But yeah, 1990 Volkswagen Corrado, second year model, Corrado G60. Again, if you liked what you saw, please do hit subscribe. We'll do reviews of cars, trucks, vans from all over the world that we find in the junkyard generally. So thank you very much. Please do hit subscribe, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.